Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of New to Weeaboo. This is episode 19 for April 22nd, 2020. I am Nemesis, and I am joined once again remotely by Alcatraz.
Hey.
Yes, that's all still going on, as you probably are well aware.
Yeah, everyone is well aware of what's going on there.
Yeah. Anime-wise, I can't think of too much, other than I think there's a couple more anime cons were, of course, canceled, because not surprising, really. Again.
Yep.
And a bunch of anime was postponed indefinitely because of this stuff, including the Evangelion movie's release. That's also been postponed again. Yeah, and well, Comic-Con itself also been canceled. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That was that's in July, but yeah, it's still being canceled for now. It's like the first time, as I said, the first time ever they canceled, which is crazy.
But they're probably planning on next year, though. It's not like
yeah.
it's a... That's an interesting point of terminology. Canceled or postponed or...
Yeah. Depends on whether or not you're going to try to make it the same calendar year or not.
We canceled this year, but we're still on for next, kind of a thing.
Yep, that's the hope. We'll see if things are somewhat normal-ish back next summer, I guess.
If things are still this bad next summer, something's gone horribly wrong.
Well, it probably won't be this bad, but a lot of people are saying we're not going to ever go back to normal.
Well, and that again depends on what you mean by normal.
Exactly.
And there's also brings up the question, should we?
Yeah. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff. We're here to talk about Sailor Moon SuperS.
SuperS.
SuperS, because, yeah, that's the fourth season of the anime. And, yeah, it's a bit different in some ways, of course.
In some ways it's different. In some ways it isn't. I mean, it's still Sailor Moon.
Yeah, a couple new things happen. New enemy, new powers, new transformations, all that stuff. But before I get going on this, I want to hear first what you thought of it overall before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Overall thoughts. A bit interesting. There were definitely some new things it added, but I think overall I did enjoy it. It was definitely an enjoyable season. I think I prefer season 3 overall. I think season 4, especially the first half, kind of saw more of a return to formulaicness.
Yeah.
Before maybe like halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, things definitely switched up then. In the last third to quarter, things definitely changed up. But
yeah.
it did at first seem to a little bit more of a return to like season 2 level formulaicness. Nothing like season 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's still pretty good. I'd probably put it between 3 and 2 on how much I like the seasons.
Yeah, I would say also it's kind of a weaker season. I would actually kind of put it a little lower than 2 overall for me personally. I think there's a lot of stuff I feel that kind of doesn't quite measure up on this one. It's one of those weird things. It's not any one thing. It's a couple of things that kind of overall hurt it.
It is hard to really point at a lot of specific things. The only real one that I could really specifically nail down was that feeling of formulaicness that sort of, okay, like those first few episodes is like, yep, I know what's going to happen here. It's just the same procedure again. It's like season 2 again, where you can pretty much, it's not like season 1 where it's just like literally just, let's just change a few names almost like just change a few names in the script and call it a new episode. Where things are different, but you could still like, yep, this is the same steps we're going over again.
Yeah. Okay, so this season, getting into specifics though, this is the season that introduces the Dead Moon Circus as the new villains. And they're, a circus. They're them circus folk. Yeah, and they come into Earth to find Pegasus because they need the golden crystal to rule the world.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so you got Zirconia leading the Amazon trio, and they're the ones trying to find people's beautiful dreams, because that's where Pegasus apparently is hiding.
Yep.
Okay, they're looking for a horse.
They're looking for a horse.
A horse. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, this Pegasus here, it can't actually exist in the real world. He has to hide in someone's beautiful dreams. So they're going around just trying to find people's beautiful dreams and find where he's hiding. And that's the, I guess, the MacGuffin of sorts for this season of what are the bad guys looking for.
Not quite a
Yeah, not quite, but
MacGuffin, but yeah, I see what you're saying. That's
it's the
the
thing. Like
the the thing.
last week, what was it? It was the Pure Heart or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
last season's
yeah.
Pure Heart.
Pure
This time
Hearts.
it's
This
Beautiful
is Beautiful
Dreams.
Dreams.
And yeah, the Amazon trio, Tiger's Eye, Hawk's Eye, and Fish Eye are the ones who initially start things off. Then you get the Amazon Quartet, who with their Sere Sere, Pala Pala, Jun Jun, and Ves Ves. And we'll get into them over a little bit over time. But yeah, on top of that, Chibiusa returns, and she's a lot more important.
With a vengeance.
Yeah, she's a lot more important this season. I think that's part of what hurts this season is Chibiusa becomes really overbearing in this season, I should say.
I think you and I might have a slight different of idea on that particular point.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll probably get to that one.
But yeah,
Keep going.
I think this is the season where this is because I've heard Chibiusa is not very popular in the fandom. I think this is the season that caused that not unpopularity with her, because she kind of almost takes over the show, like because Sailor Moon is arguably supposed to be the main character, but this one almost feels like Chibiusa becomes the main character, and Sailor Moon's kind of almost an afterthought at times, which is weird to see. And on top of that, because a part of it is just simply she's necessary for them to be able to use Pegasus's power to help them. Without her, they can't use Pegasus and they can't win. And it's to the point where she and Sailor Moon actually share a transformation sequence now, so that they both have to be there for the transformation sequence to happen. So yeah, so she becomes a lot more in your face important in this season.
Yes. So I will agree with a lot of your points about characters appearing. Chibiusa is, I would honestly say in this season, Chibiusa is the main character.
Yeah.
Just straight up, they made her the main character for this season. Whether or not I like that or don't like that is kind of up in air. Like you said, a lot of people don't like Chibiusa.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been discovering as I've been looking stuff up.
Right. It is a bit weird to see someone other than Sailor Moon being the main character, and I'm not entirely certain how I feel about them all relying on Chibiusa in order to do their thing. But I wasn't so upset about that. And I don't know if that's just because I'm not so...
Well, I wasn't really that upset about it. Again,
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of little things in this season, and that's one of the little things.
Yeah. I actually honestly, I kind of like where things went with Chibiusa on this one. It, like, for me, looking at this, I really thought that this was... Well, she became the main character and got a ton of growth. Her character grew a lot in this. And I actually kind of liked seeing that.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was also, I think a lot of people don't like the direction her character took in this season was a thing as well. They didn't like the personality she kind of developed in this season, partially because it really did seem like she was more of an adult than Usagi, which is kind of weird, and people don't like that so much.
That is one point that I wanted to bring up. It very much seemed, I mean, there's kind of tiny little hints here and there of this, and in season 3, it's when Chibiusa and Usagi were there, that it sometimes can seem like Chibiusa is more mature than one that she should be, or than Usagi. Thing is, that's really not a high bar. This is Usagi we're talking about.
Yeah.
She's not she's a middle schooler, for one. They're not all that mature.
Yeah.
But it's Usagi who's just straight up not that mature at all. But in season 4, Chibiusa was way more mature than she's ever been, and it was a plot point at multiple times that she was the more mature one than Usagi.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was an interesting take on it and way of going. And I guess since I'm not like super set on either of the characters being the main character, it's not like I'm like, yeah, Sailor Moon's like, everything about Sailor Moon is like, yeah. And then seeing someone replace Sailor Moon, I'll get all bummed. I'm not like that. So I kind of liked it. It was something different, and it was I'm also, I think, I'm a sucker for the like this the small character kind of being the more mature one than the main group, and kind of having to like there's a certain character interaction that comes with that I kind of like. And that's just a me thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So she becomes important to the point because Pegasus is hiding in her dream and bonds with her over the course of the season, becomes her friend, and then maybe something more. That's the whole thing.
That's
a thing. She
fell
a horse.
in love with a horse. Who could possibly fall in love with a horse, and a Pegasus even?
Let's not get into that here.
Wait a minute.
Let's not get into that Western nonsense here.
Oh. Falling in love with a Pegasus. Who could possibly do that, right?
Weirdos.
Right? Only weirdos.
Yeah.
No one I might,
Pegasus here had a horn. So
it was more of an alicorn, but the horn was a weird one, and also not really a horse, but
turns out it's actually a boy named Helios.
Helios.
Yeah, Helios. Actually, they're pronouncing Helios.
It's Helios.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's apparently the guardian of this golden crystal and all this stuff about like
and the dream world.
Yeah, and the dream world and all that stuff. And he can't actually exist in the real world because it's his job. Yeah, this whole thing. It was Elysion was the place.
Elysian.
I suspect it was supposed to be Elysian, but they spelled it Elysion and pronounced it a little Elysion. So
it's like Meshia.
I suspect, I suspect that's a translation. They were supposed to be, Elysian Fields because they're doing the whole Greco-Roman thing anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, just possibly a bad translation on their part.
Yeah. You look at it and just go, yeah, I know what you were intending to do. We've seen these names before in other places. This was Elysian.
And the other thing was, because of Pegasus, the Sailor Guardians all got upgrades. Like Chibiusa and Usagi both got new outfits, very much overhauled outfits with new designs on them, and the rest of them, they got basically just different shoulder pads and longer bows on their outfits. That's it. They got new powers, but yeah. Brand new powers like what was it? Mercury Aqua Rhapsody, Jupiter Oak Evolution, Venus Love and Beauty Shock, and Mars Flame Sniper.
One that finally makes more sense as a name. Because sometimes those names just sound like random gibberish.
Yeah. Well, Oak Evolution is kind of...
Oak Evolution is just...
But Flame Sniper, okay, that's pretty...
Flame Sniper, yeah. That and the animation fits. It's just okay. Pulls out a bow and just shoots. All right, that makes sense. I'll go with it. Yeah, I will say, since we're talking about new powers and stuff, Sailor Moon's newest one, which... title makes no sense. Was it
Moon Gorgeous Meditation?
Moon Gorgeous Meditation. Whatever. Not even gonna go there. The animation and her pose and stuff like that is probably my favorite.
Yeah, and the music for me too.
I think the music.
That whole sequence is pretty good.
Yeah,
something I discovered when rewatching it this time was they adjusted it slightly midway through the season without any real fanfare. This made it a small adjustment because the bit that goes da-na-na when she's actually pointing and everything at the very end, right? Yeah, it used to do it twice, then they started doing it 3 times. That little sequence, and they adjusted the timing a little bit. So it's like, I don't know why they changed it, but it's the later version I think is better with the 3 times.
Yeah. But I love the whole. She gets her new stick and she, points it out.
Almost looks like a sword. Almost.
It's that's one of the. It's like this combination between, especially with her kneeling pose.
Yep.
It's like a combination between a sword and a sniper rifle. It's like that one anime. You see this, anime's girls with sniper rifles. They always have the same pose that she does too.
Yeah.
The big Barrett.
Yep.
That's what it reminds me of. I think it just looks really cool.
Yep. And then you get the stage out. That's the new monster's new thing. Stage out, and then they shatter.
And then
or later on they crack and then shatter.
Yep.
Of course, the only thing there is the only thing there is the red and white flashing can get a little intense sometimes.
Oh,
I think some of the episodes they did, they edited them to tone it down, but they didn't get all of them. So some of them are really intense and some of them are only mild. But it's like that's one of those things that's like, that wasn't well thought out when they made that.
Yeah.
That's because that is pretty intense.
Yep.
Good thing it's not red and blue, though.
Product of their time, back when they weren't exactly thinking about those with epilepsy.
Yeah, they didn't. It just didn't occur to them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's the unfortunate thing. But other than that, it's a great sequence. Glad you brought that up because I was going to eventually. Also, was it Twinkle yell? Yeah, because she has to. Chibiusa has to kneel down and say, Pegasus, whatever, protect our dreams or something. Then
please
she gets
the bell shows dreams.
up. Twinkle L, as she says.
Twinkle L, yes.
And then she rings it, and then Pegasus shows up, and then Sailor Moon gets her new stick and everything.
Gets her new stick.
Crystal-powered stick.
Crystal-powered stick. Gas-powered stick.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And that just brought into my mind the one time it didn't quite go that way. Because Chibiusa was by herself, so she pulled her little thing out and then had the reference back to the old seasons where she shot the little hearts out of it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
They brought that back once, and I chuckled.
Because she was alone for a little bit.
Yep.
There's also that weird thing I think that's what I'm speaking of. I remember this. The first few episodes was kind of weird, like almost like they forgot to properly set it up before they set it up. Because it's like this weird thing. She's got the stick already, but like things are weird. If you remember those first few episodes, those things like it almost feels like did something go out of order? Because it feels like this was supposed to happen afterwards, but it happened before. Yeah,
it could be, or just
I don't think it was out of order. I think it was just
drew it weird. They forgot
something weird happened because like she's already got the stick, but like. Yeah, they're not doing the big sequence yet.
Maybe she has the stick, but it doesn't work. She has the stick, but she doesn't have the gas for it.
Well, the thing was, it was working. It just was different. It was a weird thing, those first few episodes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on there, but the villains. I want to talk about a lot of villains. Because, the Dead Moon Circus, I feel this is another thing, is I feel that villains overall aren't quite as good as the villains in the third season. Particularly the second set, the Amazoness Quartet, I feel aren't as interesting. I think the Amazon Trio are largely actually pretty neat I think overall pretty good as characters, except for one aspect, which is a weird one.
Yeah, I think is it Fisheye?
Yeah, Fisheye is
is
kind of
that was
somewhat of a problem.
Certain what's going on there. It's interesting. I think the Amazon Trio got a lot more characterization.
Yes. And I think overall just presented more entertaining.
I wanted more characterization out of the quartet.
Yeah.
And I'm a little sad that we didn't get them because I think they had more potential.
It kind of almost felt like with the quartet, it almost felt like scene missing. Like this, like we got from here to here, this point to this point in characterization. Like how do we get there?
Yeah, it's like I wanted them to have more,
and they didn't.
It's like because I feel that they're more interesting in the fact that they have more potential, but they didn't get the things that would have made them interesting. So it's that weird. They are, but they aren't interesting. But I wanted them to because they could have been. And it's there's aspects of them that I did really like.
Yeah. I feel like the Amazon Trio, though, they were largely very entertaining as villains because they kind of were that right mix of goofy and actual threats, and because of that, they're like you got just like Tiger's Eye just sitting in the water, just kind of my butt's wet, because you see weird stuff like that. I like that. But the only problem was they were kind of in some ways formulaic. Although I did like sometimes they just skipped all the lead up and just skip straight to the taking the mirror.
Yep.
It's like, okay, I'm just irritated now.
Yep.
And also the bit where the episode where Minako is trying to date both Tiger's Eye and Hawk's Eye while they're in disguise, and they get so angry about this two-timing woman. Minako not learning a thing either.
That was a great episode. Oh man, that's one of the things I love about Minako.
Uh-oh. Is she growing on you?
No, well, it's been a long running thing since season 2 even. Because I think even a little bit of season 1. When we first, Sailor V is just supposed to, they play it up as this, really cool, she's the first guardian and she's the mature one, and then you get to know her. It's like, oh, that's who she is. It's just great. I love that.
What a dork.
Exactly. There's someone. Oh, the main character looks up to this hero. Supposed to be this hero character is going to be, the leader and the mentor of the group who knows what's going on.
Nope.
No, not at all. She's such a dork in this.
Oh god, she's basically Usagi's twin.
She is. To the
Except
point where it's,
slightly a little more amoral when it comes to stuff.
She can't help it. She's the goddess of love, right?
Yeah, she's just got
too much love for one person.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Exactly. Sailor Venus is. If any of those characters are Polly, it's her.
She's got to be Pan.
Oh yeah, too much love for one person. It'll just.
Yeah. Yeah, so stuff like that, I just like it. But the Amazon trio, Fisheye. So Fisheye is I bring up Fisheye because he's kind of a weird problem. Almost, I would say, pretty much problematic character in many ways. Because they're all the Amazon trio are all guys, but Fisheye in particular is particularly feminine. They all have slightly feminine traits to them, but Fisheye in particular is incredibly effeminate.
Like when for a longest time, I didn't think the trio were all guys.
Yeah, I thought so too the first time until they started saying male pronouns. What?
What?
Oh. So, but the thing is, Fisheye is also clearly interested in men, who, unlike the other two, who are very interested in women, which that's not the problem. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
But it's also why it's like this is a show from the 90s.
Yeah.
So we have an effeminate character that's interested in guys. Really said, oh, well, this is a girl character because we're not going to put a gay character.
Remember, though, season 1 had the gay couple among the villains.
But
and
so it really just started adding to the whole, what's going on with this character?
Yeah. So that's fine in and of itself because, again, I've said it before, Sailor Moon was actually fairly progressive for the 90s Japan.
It is.
But... so Fisheye likes guys. The other two, we see clearly some horrified reactions to that. They seem to be uncomfortable with it sometimes, unfortunately. But the problem is Fisheye, when Fisheye is going to, I guess, get in one of the dream mirrors, often pretend to be a woman in order to seduce the guy, which is kind of a not great trope to get into. And unfortunately, at the time particularly, it was somewhat common for guys that sort of thing to happen in anime and manga, as far as I can tell, and still does sometimes happen now.
Yep.
And it's kind of that whole, and I hate to use the word, kind of that whole trap thing that people like to go on about. And it's unfortunate that was used so extensively in this.
That's sort of where the problematic term trap kind of came from, is probably from improper use of and doing crap like that.
As a little thing, I guess, to briefly explain it, trap is often used in a transphobic way because what's referring to as trans women aren't actually women, and they're just men in dresses or whatever trying to trick straight men into having sex with them or whatever and making them gay. Yep. And it kind of largely comes from anime and manga, where there is that weird trope of feminine guy dresses like a woman and whoops, turns out whoops, there's extra bits down there you weren't expecting types thing. And that's the whole thing, because it's called trap because you are trapping a straight man into a gay relationship or something. Yep. And it's kind of gross. The thing is, Fisheye is a villain, so it's like, but still,
but
it's not great to see it. And I think that's one of the other big marks against this season, is just Fisheye, how they did that.
They could have done it in a different way.
I'm looking at, because for a while I was like, is Fisheye like non-binary or gender fluid or something? Because that would have been cool. But no.
They could have gone with a non-binary or gender fluid. But no, that's not what they did.
No, it's a gay man who's willing to pretend to be a woman in order to seduce other men. Which is kind of frustrating. Yeah. That's really frustrating that's the way that played out, instead of, if it was a gender fluid person, then that would not be a problem. But there's also the thing where he clearly is attracted to like a 9-year-old, but the soccer player, if you remember that episode.
Yeah. Wasn't Tiger Eye also?
Yeah, there's a couple times where it's like we get that
in one
weird,
of those as well.
I think that's a samurai girl.
Yeah,
the swordswoman.
Tiger Eye was interested in younger girls, and
not that young usually.
not usually, except for I think there was that one time.
Yeah, that one
And
time.
Hawkeye was always really
Hawkeye,
cool
yeah.
because Hawkeye was interested in older
Yep.
women.
Like Usagi's mom.
Sagi's mom has got it going
Oh
on.
no. Oh. Yeah, so I think Fisheye could have been handled better, and it's just unfortunate there.
Definitely.
Tiger's Eye and Hawk's Eye are just kind of feel like just villainous womanizers, which is not great, but they're villains. They're clearly villains.
The villains. That's one thing. It's like sometimes when you have a character do something that's wrong, if they're a villain, it's really whether it's okay to do it depends on how you handle it. If you do it in a way that
there's context,
if you do it as like they're the villain, and if you show it they're the villain and what they're doing is wrong, then yes, you can have that in your show because it's showing that it is wrong to do this.
I did like with the stories when Tiger's Eye tried to bring up the little board thing because they always do the 1, 2, 3 countdown. The board comes up, they get latched in, and then the mirror comes out. That was 1, 2, 3. So he does the 1, and it starts to come up, and she just spins around like, "What's that?" And he just goes back down, and it's like, "Oh, you're fast."
Yep.
I'd love to imagine because of the timing. I would have liked to imagine like what would happen if like say 1, and then just kind of step away from the board. Hey, stop that! 1, hey, huh? Move away from it. Hey,
it would be great if it was like a character who's just completely oblivious and just happens to be accidentally avoiding it every time.
Exactly.
Just the frustration on the villain's face.
Oh, Naru showed up once.
Oh yeah.
Briefly.
Finally, she wasn't getting.
And Amino. Naru and Amino showed up briefly.
Yep.
And Amino gave himself a bad tummy ache.
Oh. Yeah.
Because it's milkshakes.
Milkshakes.
Yeah. There's Madame Zirconia. She's like the boss lady for a while. She's like this old, like, I don't know, witch. She got like this weird bug aesthetic going on with like her hat and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's the one who's telling them to do stuff and, yelling at them when they screw up and everything. And then, oh, by the way, you're not actually human. You're animals.
We just uplifted a couple animals.
And you screwed up enough times that you're going to go back to that now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that was the big thing. That was the transfer over. Was they're like they're realizing they don't have beautiful dreams. Like Fisheye realizing they don't have beautiful dreams, and they're getting upset about the fact that they don't actually get to be human and everything.
That was actually a really cool scene that I really liked, where it delved into that, where Fisheye actually pulled the board up on, I think it was Tiger's Eye.
Yeah.
And did the countdown on him, and it was just like, whoa.
There's nothing.
And that was a really serious scene too.
Yeah, there's a lot that's towards the end there. That's like there was a lot going on with those characters, and they died because the Amazon-esque quartet sent a monster or Lemurus, as they call it, to clean up and get rid of them, and then Pegasus comes along. It's like somehow you redeem yourself and you'll get to be reborn as humans. Like, okay, sure. Because at the end they had beautiful dreams in the end or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't do enough to get yourself redeemed now. But you did enough to the next life you'll be human like you want. Okay, sure. Roll with it, whatever. It was kind of a weird thing, like how did they really redeem themselves? I mean, they kind of in the end they helped out, but like that was very, very late in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, so the Amazon Quartet, though, the second set of villains, I find them not as interesting overall just because it feels like, again, like you said, they didn't do much with what they had. There's stuff there that they could have played with, and they didn't really. They're just kind of just little jerk children.
Yeah, there was a lot of potential lore, especially with one that they dropped near the end. They're basically their origin and gaining their powers. That opened the door for explaining and giving them more character. It just never went anywhere. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the thing. We see that they're children who are kind of tricked by the big bad Queen Helenia, who we'll get to her in a little bit.
So we haven't explained her yet.
Yeah, we'll get to her in a little bit. But yeah, they're tricked by her into then basically remaining children forever, and and that's their whole thing is they just want to be children because adults don't have dreams, and I don't want to be an adult. That's what it's kind of Peter Pan type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of like, they could have been interesting, and I think one of them in particular, Pala Pala, she's the blue one.
Probably has the most differing
because
character out of the three.
because she's the one who's like, oh, she's all cutesy and stuff and childlike, and then oh crap, she's got a massive sadistic streak.
Yep, that one scene where she pops the head off the doll, and all the other
Other one
three
was
go,
like,
"Oh, geez,
she's kind of
maybe
scary.
she is a force to be reckoned with."
Oh yeah, the other time she's just kind of trying to do this show for these kids, and everyone dies. The end.
Everyone dies. Yeah, it's
Oh
like,
man,
oh,
I'm
that's the
realizing just
creepy
how
child.
I'm actually looking something up right now, and like realizing just how much potential was supposed to be there for the Amazoness Quartet.
Is there a lot more in like the manga?
They're
Yeah,
actually
because
the
it's
Sailor Quartet.
like I was saying, I wanted them to be more because I could tell
Yeah,
that there was so much more room and so much more potential to these characters. That's what was interesting me the most about them, is not what was there, but what could have been. I could see it.
yeah. Their names were based off 4 asteroids that at one point were considered planets. Because
Interesting.
yeah, Vesta, Pallas, Ceres, and Juno.
Palace.
Yeah, so
Palace.
they're supposed to be Sailor Guardians, but well,
Palace
Queen
of the
Helena found them first and messed that all up.
Yeah,
So
that
that
is
was the
definitely
thing. That was not in
interesting.
the anime.
No, no, it wasn't. Unless it comes in the next season. I don't know. I haven't seen season
Yeah.
5. We haven't
So
got there
yeah,
yet.
yeah, that's the big thing. Was like for them, it just kind of like just seemed like 4 jerk children. And like there's a couple times you kind of get that thing, like the coming of age ceremony they're helping out with. We kind of get that whole thing. It's like, yeah, they're genuinely seem to be somewhat nice kids at times, but then yeah, they go immediately pretty quick into bad.
Yep.
And we see that that's supposed to be our glimpse into them possibly being good.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if that
That
was
they're
the
not
first
actually that evil. No,
episode.
not the first time, but we see.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that was the first episode we saw the potential of them, of a potential redemption for them. But it was definitely the one that was like, if you haven't seen it before, this is definitely the hey, they're not
Yeah,
100% evil. If you
yeah. We
couldn't
see
pick it up
there's
beforehand.
children who already know that who don't really know what they're doing.
Yep.
And yeah, we got to even have the whole scene later. Like they have these little orbs that give them magic powers or stuff, or supposedly give them
The
magic
Amazon
powers.
orbs. Yeah.
Yeah, and they basically like, hey, yeah, if it's what's then they're like being used as batteries by Zirconia, basically magic batteries later. And it's like,
So
hey, if
like
you want
Guardians
out,
of the Galaxy 2, then
yeah. So it's like you want out, just smash your orbs. But this is the
that'll
source of our magic. Without this, we're nothing.
and then they
This holds our
remembered.
dreams. That's right. It's their dreams. Without this, we'll grow up. We don't,
Yes.
so
They
that
don't
was
want to grow up.
that was the whole thing there. So yeah, they smashed it and eventually helped out the good guys because they stole the crystal from Queen Helena.
Yep.
Because yeah, at this point, Queen Helena got the crystal. Oh no.
Yep. At that point, got the crystal.
Yeah. So yeah, Queen Helena, she shows up very late in it. I mean, she is a couple times she's talked about and she does a couple little things here and there, but she isn't a big factor until very very late in the season. And when it turns out she's the one behind it all, and she's just all this is because of jealousy over the Moon Kingdom. Basically, she's just upset because she's realizing she ages just like everyone else, and that upsets her. So
she's going to lose her beauty.
Yep. And as far as she's concerned, that's everything.
Yep.
And so she finds out dreams can fuel make her eternally young as long as she keeps stealing them. So that's what she's doing, and
she keeps eating dreams. She stays beautiful.
And then she gets banished by a Queen Serenity and all that stuff. And then she comes back for vengeance against the Moon Kingdom and all this stuff. It's like, some of your problems are your own fault.
Yes, she was complaining the whole time, I'm all alone.
It's all your fault.
And it's like, you're only alone because you basically killed everyone around you. You weren't alone until you went crazy and killed everyone.
You screwed up.
This is your fault. You dug your grave. Now lie in it.
Yeah, so she's like, the weird thing was like, she was like completely untouchable while she had the golden crystal was the thing. Yep. That was the weird part.
That's how powerful it is.
She was completely, nothing they did could touch her until,
even big sailor planet attack thing they did. They went Captain Planet on her, basically.
Did nothing.
She just looked at them.
That was that all.
Just shrugged it off.
Yeah, until the quartet stole the crystal from her and gave it to Sailor Moon. Yeah, so that's the thing about her. It's like she's somewhat an interesting character, but at the same time, it's like, wow, she's kind of that weird thing of like, she's someone who just refused to grow up. She didn't want to grow up because it scared her, and she decided to drag.
She found the kids.
Yeah,
because that was the same thing.
Yeah, it's a weird thing of how as a villain, she's kind of interesting, but also the same kind of like underutilized. I feel
a bit,
much like the quartet themselves. Like there's a lot there that feels like could have been expanded on, but I don't know.
Yeah, there possibly could have been. They did that quick kind of explanation in one episode, one sitting that explained her entire backstory, and I don't know what else you could have done with that backstory. Then after that, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah, she wasn't a bad villain, but.
And again, though, part of the problem is once she gets out and she gets the crystal, she just kind of sits there for most of it. She's not really doing much. Nope. She's just sitting there. Nope. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, she doesn't really. All the things that she does before she gets the crystal.
Yeah, or she does by proxy.
Or by proxy, but the whole like turning Earth dark and all the spider webs and stuff like that, she did well before she got the crystal. Yeah. She had to do that in order to get it, basically.
Well, the spider webs was because they hurt the Earth. They hurt Mamoru as well, and Mamoru's kind of taken out.
That was because it's hurting the Earth, and Mamoru's tied to the Earth.
I know.
Yeah.
And then also turns out Helios and Demian kind of sort of knew each other. Yeah, it's a
kind of in their past life they knew each other.
Yeah, that sort of thing. That's that sort of weird thing. It's like, oh, it's that past life stuff again.
Yeah,
because he was the ruler of the Golden Kingdom. Because gold and silver millennium, golden seasons. Yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, Nihilina is the whole thing at the end where it's like she turns old because the mirror shattered and she's defeated another thing. No more magic to keep her young. Whoop! Now she's a wizened old lady.
Looks a lot like Zirconia.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, there's that weird thing where she does that attack to Sailor Moon where Zirconia like shoots out of her stomach and like.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm not sure if it's supposed to imply her and Zirconia like the same person, or is this because she absorbs Zirconia or what. But I think they're supposed to be the same species. Is the same thing.
Considering what one looked like, what Nihilina turned into when she became old looked a lot like Zirconia. It's like, you're the same.
Yeah, it's an odd thing to say the least.
Speaking of stomachs.
Oh.
Every one of the Lemuras, or however you pronounce it, they all ate them out of their
not all of them. All the ones from the quartet. All the ones from the trio did not have that.
Yeah, it was just like they all ate the mirrors with their stomachs.
Yeah.
It's like, this is an interesting. Why? All right. All right.
Yeah, sure.
We'll go with that, I guess.
I did like that one. I was like, I didn't do anything yet.
Yeah, that was great.
The other thing I want to say is that final bit. I think this is the other thing is like the final episodes of season 3 were really strong, and this one kind of doesn't hit those highs with the final episodes up until the very, very final episode. It's only for a brief moment. Because the cool thing is like, okay, Nihilina is like, okay, I've lost. I know I've lost. I'm going back to my prison apparently. Fine, one last parting shot. I'm going to toss Chibi Moon off this flying platform to her death. Have fun.
See what you do with that, and then Sailor Moon
just jumps after her.
Just jumps. And it's like,
oh, what an idiot. And then she's like, oh, well, I'm going to be young forever alone. If I have to be alone to be young, so be it.
So be it.
And then I get that part's cool, and then I just like the diving towards Earth.
Although, one thing I couldn't help feeling during the whole sequence, especially once they got to when they were flying down the buildings, it's like, these are really tall buildings.
Yeah, it looked cool though.
It looked really cool, but you've been falling next to these buildings for a very long time.
Of course, I'm just like saying that Sailor Moon, if you want to catch up to her, just maybe
bring your arms in.
Yeah, by bringing that dress in, that's not really.
Yeah, and it's got the Neo Queen Serenity dress showed up, and that's gonna slow you down unless you plan on catching and flipping
She caught her
upside down,
whatever.
flipping feet first and using it as a parachute.
And then, of course, now Chibi Moon has to wake up so they can actually use the golden crystal and summon Pegasus and live.
Yep.
It's like, boy, it'd be funny. Chibi Moon's like, whoa, wow! Why are we falling? Why are we falling?
That's what would happen. It's like you wake up and you're going to be panicking for a bit. You don't know what's going on. You're groggy. You're confused. There's going to be some time.
The wind is really loud.
Wake up and when you can actually do something.
Oh, yeah, and they got wings at the very end.
And then they got wings, which is the second time the wings have sort of shown up because Chibiusa got them in the one dream sequence.
And also, there's that transformation sequence in an earlier season where Usagi briefly had wings during this transformation. Yeah. It's like, see, the wing thing kind of keeps popping up with Sailor Moon.
It's like, it's fine. I like wings. Wings are good.
It's fine, yeah.
And
so that was a pretty cool sequence, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that last episode, I couldn't help being reminded, the opening of the very, very last episode, the rubble of the circus and everything starts lifting up and Usagi's running through the rubble trying to get it. It was like, this looks a lot like the openings of Half-Life episode 2.
It's fine, shut up.
In the rubble of the tower was a spire. What is it called? I totally forgot it.
Episode 1? Oh, the rubble of the Citadel?
Yeah, the Citadel. And the rubble of the Citadel, right? In the opening of that. And that was 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, episode 2 started with the rubble of a train wreck.
Yeah. And you have to get back into it as it's exploding, kind of a thing.
You have to go back
in.
It's
like, this kind of... this reminds me of Half-Life.
Oh, now time to dub Sailor Moon with Half-Life sound effects.
Sailor Moon, but it's Half-Life sound effects. That would be interesting. Oh, there was another scene earlier in when Chibiusa gets her mirror popped out.
Yes.
The first time that happens, and she grabs the mirror and just says no and pulls it back in.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, it was a bit of an intense thing going on. Oh yeah, there's also Diana.
Oh,
you remember how? You notice how she just showed up and didn't do anything?
I think she did a couple really minor things.
Yeah, she didn't really do much,
giving some information here and there, but other than that, she was just kind of there to be a cute talking cat, I guess.
And she barely even did that.
Yeah.
All she's there just to show, yes,
though.
Artemis and Luna get together eventually, I guess. That's her whole purpose, I guess.
He just cannot catch a break.
Yeah. Just everyone assumes she's seeing another cat. It's like, no. Everyone misunderstands. And until, because Luna seems unusually mad for someone who doesn't care about him like that.
Soon, Luna.
Yeah.
Told you I liked Luna.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another funny bit.
Yeah.
Something I couldn't help get suddenly reminded of. Near the beginning, when the one Lemura's hits Pegasus to find its host and finds that it's Chibiusa.
Yeah.
The one time Lemura's found out but died before he could tell anyone.
Yep.
The whole sequence of trying to get Chibiusa to take control and for her own purposes was totally the temptation of Christ. It totally was.
No shit.
I was like, they had the whole Messiah thing.
Oh, yeah, the whole church thing. That's right. There was a whole church episode. Remember that?
Oh, there was that too.
The nun.
the nun. But then this was like, this is the temptation of Christ. So does that mean that Chibiusa's now the Messiah? Chibiusa's Jesus? I don't know. I thought it was just like,
but
that's kind of funny.
I like the bit. I just remember some of from the church episode when the Sailor Guardians show up and they're talking about how how dare the villain do this thing, and Ray's like, even though they're our competition, because she works at a Shinto shrine.
Yep.
It's like, oh, Yeah. I'm trying. What was the thing I was thinking of? Oh, Mamoru. Yeah, Mamoru was largely waylaid in this season. I noticed that.
He showed up every now and then, but there was a lot more episodes where he wasn't there. Which,
Or if he was there, just to show up as tuxedo mask, say something cryptic, and then that's it.
my job here is done.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. No, and then they had to get rid of him for the final episode.
Yep. It's weird how much they kind of put him off to the side.
It's kind of weird, but I'm also kind of happy that happened in the same way, because it's like the Sailor Guardians are now actually doing things on their own, and they don't need the help of a man.
Yeah.
Because that's always been kind of a little thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
it does still happen, but not as often.
Going on. It's like, it's like they show up to fight, but they're useless until a man shows up. It's not great. It's not great. But this one, there's a lot more. No, they can do it on their own. They don't always need him. So I did actually kind of like the fact that he wasn't always there.
And there's also a lot of more of the goofy monsters and stuff, including I remember there was one monster just straight up called out, and Mamoru was like, that doesn't make any sense. And he's just, or the ball. He threw this rose and the ball just steamrolls over it. Just boom. It's like, he starts to talk and just stops because,
yeah, usually he throws the rose and they stop. What was that? And he can do his monologue.
Stop, or they hurts the monster or whatever. But this time he throws the rose on the ground. He starts to talk and the ball just goes right over. It's like,
great.
What?
I think that was one of the really good things about this whole season, is that there was a lot more of stuff like that where they just kind of were irreverent, I guess, in a way.
That was pretty great.
It wasn't breaking the fourth wall, but they were self-aware. They were a lot more self-aware about the ridiculousness of some of this.
Yeah,
played with it.
Well, the episode where they figure out Chibiusa's possibly in love and think it's some weird-looking dude.
I have that on my notes because there was one particular scene that was like, wait, did they just... No. We're talking about vertically long face and like a horse. That's vulgar. It's like, did they just make a hung like a horse joke?
Yes, they did.
Holy crap.
They did that.
They did that. And I'm just like, holy crap. I cannot believe that they made that kind of a joke. Especially when it's involving like middle schoolers and younger.
Yeah.
But still, I did not expect that.
That's when you usually learn those kind of jokes, is in middle school.
Yes, but Chibiusa's not in middle school.
But she wasn't the one making the joke.
No, she was not the one making the joke.
They're just confused because why is she talking about a horse? Well, she actually is talking about a horse.
She is actually talking about a horse. Sort of.
Yeah. Well, at that point, she only briefly saw Helios in his real form.
Yes. Oh, and that was the same episode where they kind of poked at the age difference.
Yeah, they poked it a little bit.
It's a lot old. She's a lot older than Chibiusa. So are we.
You're a lot older than I am, Mamoru.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the age gap's bigger.
Age gap's a lot bigger there. Still not great.
No, still not great. Nope.
Still not great.
That was that weird episode where Usagi and Chibiusa switched ages or something. I don't think it was actually switched ages. I think Chibiusa straight up became an adult based off what I saw.
Yeah.
He was a little taller.
It's like they made Chibiusa an actual adult.
Yeah. Now she can't talk to Pegasus anymore.
Yeah. It's like, oh boy, I know what fandoms would do to this kind of a thing.
I mean, she already was the Black Lady back in season 2, so.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep. I remember Hotaru became Mistress 9 in season 3. Of course, people have shipped Black Lady and Mistress 9 together.
Oh boy,
of course they have. It's just the same but evil.
Yeah. That's a whole creepy thing. Like when they become older, it's like, yes, now they're adults, but they aren't.
Yeah, I know. Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. There was another thing that was kind of interesting. the way they dealt with the mirrors, especially
Yeah.
with the Amazon trio,
Yes.
and the way the characters, their victims, I guess,
Oh yeah.
how they reacted, how they acted in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed like this was like a stand-in for sexual assault.
Eh,
It kind of looked like that at times.
maybe.
Like, is that what they're?
I think it was just supposed to be painful.
Yeah,
Was
but
supposed to be the thing.
I don't know if it's probably just reading too much into it. It's just with all of that, and sometimes some of the mentions that like the Guardians, Sailor Guardians mentioned, you ruined their dream
Yeah.
when you do that. It's like, are they? I'm not certain if that's what they were going for, but sometimes that kind of feels like it was a stand-in for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not so certain if it was or not. But that is a point of note I wanted to bring up. That is, it kind of felt like that sometimes.
Yeah, again, overall, I feel like like we said at the top, this season was a weaker than season 3. Yeah, this is a somewhat unique season in that the villain survived to the end.
Yes, and I saw the preview at the end of the episode.
Yep.
I know it comes in next season.
Yep.
I was seeing this like at the very end before the preview. It's like this villain's not 100% defeated. Is this villain going to come back? And then the preview. Plus extra things. See how that goes.
Yeah.
The returns.
Yep. Return of Nihilenia.
And others in the next season. There are other people coming back.
Yeah, there are. You weren't supposed to do that. Shut up.
It was part of the episode. I watched the whole thing because sometimes I know they do things differently. Oh, right. Didn't they like switch up one of the like the intro or something? Intros or exits? I think they changed partway through.
Yeah, it changed the ED partway through to a more of a weird. It was initially started off as like is Chibiusa sitting on a grassy hill by herself, and in the beginning it became this weird dance thing.
Yeah,
on these dance poses. The other thing that reminds me was they stopped doing that weird. We're going to preview the episode at the beginning. They stopped
I was
doing
about to say that
well.
because that confused me because I got used to like, okay, new episode, skip to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. That's exactly when it starts. And then I did that next episode. I'm like, wait, what? We're already in the middle of things. Like, oh,
yeah, they stopped doing
that. So I was like, okay.
I can't remember if that continues through season 5 or not, but I know it's like, oh, I'm so glad they stopped doing that because this is one of those weird. Why?
God, I've been watching Battlestar Galactica, and they do it in They do somewhat similar thing in Battlestar Galactica. They have a cold open, and then sort of like a quick sequence with the intro song that shows clips from the episode you're about to watch. And it's like, why? You're spoiling it.
Yeah,
I guess
I don't understand
in that case, it's like, I guess maybe to get you hyped up for what's going to happen.
I guess.
Is the intent, but it's like, I'd rather go in blind. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it was, no, there was also that episode where, what was his name? Yuichiro? That one guy who likes Rei a lot. He got all mad when he found out Mamoru dated Rei briefly.
Yep.
And that he was staying at this shrine because they actually messed up his apartment because of a misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah.
He's just so I kind of like that guy just because I think he has Yuichiro. He gets so angry over the dumbest thing because he just assumes he has a chance with Rei.
Yep. That was also the episode Rei walked in on.
Yep, Mamoru. And
Usagi got...
That reminds me, that's one other thing I didn't like was, and then, they have this whole thing where Usagi's kind of more comfortable with the relationship with Mamoru and whatnot, and then all of a sudden they just change it. Nope, she's super jealous again.
Yep. It's like...
She just did. Because there's a whole thing where Chibiusa is trying to get play on Usagi's jealousy, and then Usagi starts to react like you think she would, and it's like, nah, I'm fine. I trust Mamoru. And then later, suddenly she's all freaking out over Mamoru staying at Rei's shrine again. And it's like, what?
Yep.
Where'd this come from? You were over this, weren't you? No anymore, I guess.
Apparently not.
Yeah, there was that one bit where Mamoru realized he screwed up when he accidentally saw that. Oh, with the dentist one. He saw the pretty dental assistant and kind of got a little flustered. And Usagi's like, well, "What are you doing?" Of course, Usagi also did the whole thing where she saw the
dentist.
But of course, when Mamoru did it, all of a sudden, uh-oh.
Yeah,
He screwed
bit
up.
of double standard there, Saki.
Yeah,
Which is a running thing throughout the entire series.
Yeah, but
It's
he
popped up
realized he
50
screwed up.
times.
He's sitting outside the dentist. He leaves the dentist office and he sits outside the entire time thinking of best way to apologize.
Yep. Whereas with Usagi, they're out with their friends, and her friends have to remind her multiple times when a guy shows up. You have Mamoru.
Yeah, we've seen
so?
signs before that Usagi would not mind having multiple partners. Again, Minako and Usagi are kind of twins.
Yep.
Yeah, the rest of them didn't really get a whole lot of stuff in this season either, I've recall. Other than they got new magic or new powers, but they didn't really, as characters, didn't really develop a whole lot in this one. They got their moments. Again, Minako's two-timing episode.
That's a great episode.
Yeah, Ray with Mamoru at the shrine was kind of a good one and whatnot. There's also the episode where Ame gets in touch with the creative side with the writing the lyrics for that one song because apparently her dad's a painter, so that's that whole thing. Yeah, and they also had that thing at the end with the mirrors. You know, they're all tempted into giving up. Oh
yeah, by their mirror selves.
Yep. Yeah, and like Jupiter's like, you want to be a girl. This is gonna make you less girly. Stop it. That sort of thing.
Yep.
There's a lot to tell there, I think, but we kind of be having to get into the nitty-gritty stuff. Yeah, I feel like overall the Sailor Guardians didn't get a whole lot other than Chibiusa herself. Chibiusa is the one who got the lion's share of character development and whatnot, even if it wasn't necessarily the best character development, in my opinion, but
I liked it. Like, I still think Season 3 was a better season, but I would put this above Season 2 just because I do like the way things were dealt with. So I guess I'm going to be the odd one out on Chibiusa on that one.
People still like her. It's just there's also a lot of people who just really don't like her.
A lot of times the child characters are not well received.
No, not at all. But I believe that's more or less it for this episode.
Yep.
We're more or less done. We'll probably figure out something else to say afterwards, but whatever.
Yeah, always.
It happens.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, if you like this episode, you can check out past and future ones at newtoweeaboo.libsyn.com. It's spelled Libsyn. If you want to go there, subscribe to the RSS feed and whatnot. And check out the other sources at the top. There's a bunch of buttons. You'll see those nice big square buttons. You can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. On any of those, go search for New to Weeaboo, and you subscribe via any of those. But if with Google Play, you have to go to play.google.com/music. Or else it doesn't work if you search for us. It just gives you an empty nothing result, which is lame or bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know why Google does that.
Man, you can check us out any of those places and subscribe any of those places if you like us or whatever. I think you subscribe on Spotify. I'm not sure how Spotify works on that. I just know you can check us out really easily there. Yeah, those are the ways if you enjoyed it. If you want to contact us, you go to newtoweeaboo@gmail.com if you have, questions or comments or criticisms or anime suggestions for the future. What do you think of Sailor Moon, all that stuff? Are we completely off base? Maybe you think Season 4 is actually the best one or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. Or maybe you have a really long, big old defense about Chibiusa's portrayal in this season. I don't know.
We'll listen to it. When are you going to hold it
against Or maybe you have
you?
a thing about, in the manga, Fisheye was portrayed like this, way better. Okay, sure. I don't know. I haven't read the manga.
I haven't read the manga.
Just contact us that way if you want. You can also follow us on Twitter @NewToWeeaboo if you want to, go there. Follow us, see us, tweet out new episodes. Sometimes just random anime things, whatever, if you'd like. Or you can follow our personal accounts. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1, and he's Alcatraz with a 7 and 7T and an underscore at the end. I'm still just mostly tweeting out Transformer reviews because those are still happening.
I haven't tweeted since the 10th.
Oh, I'm Shigo now.
You're Shigo now.
Shigo's cool.
Shigo was cool. Not an anime, though.
No, not an anime. But my first waifu.
You always remember her first.
Yeah, so that's it. Tune in a couple weeks. We'll actually be talking about the spring 2020 sampler. We're doing that again. Hopefully we're going to make that a more regular thing as time goes on. Hopefully it can be a regular thing. Who knows with this whole worldwide pandemic going on.
Yep.
Thankfully the thing's worked out this time, but who knows in the future.
It's probably one reason why anime news was so low.
Yeah,
not much has been
stuff happening, but it's just not stuff I care about. Like, I don't care about an Android of that.
Oh, right.
So yeah, exactly. You just saw the picture
I
I
just looked over and saw what you're talking about.
I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around and tune in next time. So yeah, have fun and see ya.
See ya.